She said it like it was obvious. We were standing in my parents' kitchen, the afternoon light slanting across the counter, catching on the edge of a bowl that had been chipped since I was in high school. My mom was scrolling on her phone, half listening, when I mentioned that I'd taken the week off. She looked up then, just enough to meet my eyes, and smirked. "You didn't really think you were coming, did you?" It wasn't cruel in the way shouting is cruel. It was casual, confident. The kind of comment you make when you're certain the other person will adjust themselves around it. There was a beat where my old reflexes kicked in, heat in the chest, the urge to ask why, to soften it, to negotiate my way back into whatever invisible boundary had just been drawn. That reflex had muscle memory, years of it. But something else happened instead. "Cool," I said. The word surprised both of us. It landed flat without sarcasm or edge. My mom blinked, the smirk faltering just slightly, as if she'd expected resistance and gotten static instead. She went back to her phone. Conversation over. I stood there for another moment, noticing how quiet the room felt. Not tense, just empty. Then I picked up my bag and left. In the car, my hand stayed steady on the wheel. That surprised me too. I kept waiting for the familiar churn, anger blooming into guilt, guilt into self-doubt. Instead, there was a strange clarity, like a window finally wiped clean. At a red light, I remembered the emails, the flight confirmations, the hotel booking, the car rental. All of it had been routed through my inbox because I was better at that stuff. Because my card made it easier. Because I'd offered, and no one had ever said no. I pulled into a parking lot instead of going home. Inside the cafe, the barista asked how my day was going. I said fine, and meant something adjacent to it. I ordered coffee I didn't need and sat by the window with my phone. The charges were easy to find. They were recent, neat, categorized. I tapped into the airline app first, then hesitated. There it was, the flicker of internal conflict, not fear of consequences. Guilt. The old, familiar git that whispered, "This is dramatic. This will make things worsey. This isn't how families work." I let it speak. I didn't argue with it. I just waited. Then I thought about the smirk, about how certain she'd been, about how the assumption wasn't just that I wouldn't come, but that I would still pay. I called customer service. The hold music was forgettable. The agent was polite, careful. I explained that I needed to reverse the charges on a flight booked in my name. She asked a few questions. "Type for a while." "I can process that," she said. "Once it's reversed, the reservation will be canceled." "That's fine," I said. She warned me about the timeline, the confirmation email, the refund window, all of it procedural, neutral, clean. When she finished, she asked if it was anything else she could help with. "No," I said. "That's all." I didn't rush. I canceled the hotel next. Then the car rental. Each call the same hold music, policy language, confirmation numbers. Authority showed up not as a raised voice or dramatic gesture, but as systems doing exactly what they were designed to do. By the time I left the cafe, the trip was already unraveling. I went home and made dinner. Ate slowly. The evening stretched in front of me without urgency. An hour later, my phone rang. I let it ring out. A minute after that, a text came through. "What did you do?" I stared at it for a long moment, then set the phone down again. The impulse to explain surged, another old habit. To justify, to contextualize, to soften the landing. I didn't. The next call came from my dad. His tone was different from my mom's, less sharp, more confused. "The airline says the flight's been canceled," he said, skipping any greeting. "They're saying it was reversed." "Yes," I said. There was a pause. I could hear him breathing, recalibrating. "Why would you do that?" I leaned back against the counter and considered my answer. Not for effect. For accuracy. "Because I'm not going," I said. "And I paid for it." "That doesn't make sense," he said. "Your mother said?" I know what she said. Another pause. This one heavier. "You could have talked to us first," he said, irritation creeping in around the edges. I said, "In the kitchen." He didn't respond to that. A few seconds later, my mom's voice cut in on speaker, sharper now. "This is ridiculous," she said. "You don't cancel a family trip over a comment." I didn't, I said. Then what did you do? I stopped paying for something I wasn't part of. Silence. Real silence this time, not the conversational kind. You're being dramatic, she said, finally. Maybe, I said. But the charges are reversed. She scoffed. So now what? You've ruined it for everyone. That was the moment, not a revelation, more like a confirmation stamp. I didn't ruin it, I said. I opted out. The line went quiet. Then my dad spoke again, slower. We'll talk about this later, he said. Okay, I said. They hung up. The rest of the evening passed without incident. No more calls. No texts. I sat on the couch and noticed how my body felt, lighter in some places, heavier in others. Relief braided with something like grief. The next day, my mom texted. You didn't have to make a point. I read it once, then again. I typed back. I wasn't making a point. I was making a choice. There was no immediate reply. The trip didn't happen. Or maybe it did, reshaped at the last minute, funded differently. I didn't ask. They didn't volunteer details. Weeks passed. Conversation resumed in fragments, updates about weather, neighbors, small talk stripped of logistics. Something fundamental had shifted. Not warmth, not closeness, awareness. My mom doesn't smirk the same way now. My dad asks before assuming. Neither of them mentions money. I still feel the cost of it sometimes. Boundaries aren't free. They come with quiet rooms and unanswered questions and the knowledge that love, when it's been entangled with obligation, doesn't untangle cleanly. But I also feel something else. When plans are made now, they don't automatically include my card. When decisions are announced, they don't presume my compliance. I didn't win anything. I just stopped losing ground without noticing.